So today's speaker is myself, just a minute, sorry, is myself, Manoj, and I have a PhD in biotechnology with an extensive 15 plus years of experience in research in virology, molecular biology, and biotechnology. And I have 13 peer-reviewed publications. And my area of research was basically on infectious diseases. I joined Novogene in 2009 as a technical support scientist. And as you know, Novogene is a next-gen sequencing service company. So today we'll give an introduction to the sample submission process and how CSS, which is a new process that we have launched, customer service system, is facilitating that process. It can do other things also. And we'll also talk about the best practices. And we'll appreciate all your inputs after this webinar to what to include in the future webinars and all other different queries. Let's move on to the next. So the outline for today's talk would be a brief overview of Novogene as a company and what we need to do before sample submission and what are the different guidelines for sample preparation and preparing shipment. I know some of the things would be you have all done that once, but it's reviewing it would be a greater good thing. And the CSS system, I'm going to introduce this particular aspect, sample check-in and review of all the steps. And then we'll move to our Q&A session and we can take specific questions. And as I mentioned, please use the Q&A module to get your questions there and we will answer it. So Novogene was founded by Dr. Lee, who is one of the world's leading experts in genomics and bioinformatics. He had a PhD in biology from University of Copenhagen. He is expert, you can see his publications, he has 30 Nature publications, and also he is a good bioinformatician, developing the software SOAP, enabling ultra-fast sequence mapping, variation detection, and de novo gene assembly. So we have a very nice, the founder who is actually very well grounded on NGS facilities. His prior experience is he is a vice president, he was vice president at BGI, and he was also principal investigator at Peking University. Novogene was founded in Beijing in 2011, and it provides high quality next-gen sequencing and bioinformatic analysis services. We also provide CAP and CLIA accredited things. So these particular services are provided at different locations. We have one lab in US and also most of the labs are in, global labs are in China. There is a dedicated, as a dedicated service provider, we provide world's largest sequencing capacity. We have latest Illumina, PacBio, and nanopore sequencers at our facilities worldwide. And you can see more updates in our website in the link below. So if I give you a brief overview what global coverage we have our headquarters in Beijing here, and in US we have a lab at UC Davis, which started in 2014, and there are other locations where we are located. So you would hear from us like mostly about Davis lab as well as the labs in China, where we send, this is where the global lab is, and we have more equipped facilities there. So one of them is the Falcon system, which actually it's a breakthrough in traditional NGS. So it integrates 66 precision devices, so mostly automated, combining the entire process of sample extraction, library construction, pooling, and bioinformatic analysis into only one intelligent platform. So with large projects, we can process like 2,000 to 3,000 samples in about 24 hours. So that is reducing our turnaround time by 60%. So in this year, you would see whatever codes we are going to give, we have a reduced turnover time and we can do faster the projects. So as you know, the start, how the project is started, that is requesting a quote, and you reach out to our regional sales representative for the quote. And we ask for these details like sample number and origin, sample type, nucleic acid tissue or library, biosafety information if it is BSL1 or BSL2. So based upon that, we need some security document from, sorry, some safety documentation, or if they have to be sent to a different lab. And so this is an example of the code. So your code number is mostly in this. So this is how we recognize the project. And you also get a contract number after the project is approved, after we get the confirmation of payment by purchase order, prepayment via credit card or wire transfer. The next option is the sample requirements. So this is also available in the code that we provide. So there is a section for sample requirements. There is a link. If you click on that link, it goes into the resource page and downloads, gives you this PDF. So this is an example of that, showing just RNA-seq, the requirements, the amount, volume, concentration, and RNA integrity number. So we don't want every information to be there. At least we want that you have minimal, like to send us the amount, you have minimal amount. For example, in this case, if you have total RNA 0.4 microgram and 20 microliters in concentration at 20 nanogram per microliter, if we have this thing available, so this particular aspect, we don't look for it, but that is what the gold standard is. So anyway, we are going to do QC. So we also offer some low input options for certain projects, sometimes at other labs and sometimes as lab in China. So just reach out to us for specific projects and we can let you know which lab we are going to do. So similar requirements are also there for human WES, human WGS, mouse WES, and all other like plant animal WES, Amplicon-seq, and all different kinds of products. Next is preparing for a shipment. So normally we share some version of pre-shipping checklist. An example is given on the right, as you can see here, a checklist. So what it has 4 important elements: the type of tubes. So we recommend tubes 1.5 ml or 2 ml flip cap tube. The reason we ask for it because our the pipeline is so designed that it directly takes these tubes and we can go forward to it. If there are other sizes of tubes, we need to do a tube transfer, and that delays the process, and as well as there is some kind of handling fees there, 5 per sample. Then the next is the packaging. So we recommend packaging like as you can see, putting in parafilm. If there are like less than 10 samples, you can use Kim wipes and 50 ml conicals to protect them, or put them in a freezer or storage box. That is what, like dry ice is important mostly for the RNA samples, but we also recommend for DNA samples. But if that is a possible, if you see that there is no availability of dry ice, at least for RNA, for the DNA samples, you can also use the ice packs to send. So because they are more stable. And the last step is, and we recommend about 5 lb of dry ice. But if you're sending, we recommend to send a little bit more dry ice on hotter days because sometimes, and also to counter for FedEx delays if it happens. So you can see here. And then the next part is the printed slip or the packing slip, which actually I would give an introduction about how from the CSS system we can get it. So now coming to the CSS system, which is a customer service system, as I mentioned, Novogene launched an online project management customer service system in May 2020. So this is a customer oriented and customer controlled portal. So you can control it at your time, the only thing here is that once you have the code and the PO is ready, and there is something internally called as contract approval. Once that happens, you can see the project in the interface. So it takes about from 2 to 24 hours to get the project on the portal. Once you have direct access to your sequencing project there, and then you can also see the entire progress of your projects at one place, starting from sample submission to receiving final data reports. You can see the invoices. You can also see what means when the sample, like when you have uploaded the sample, you see that sample have arrived, or all those different details are on CSS. We are still improving it a lot. So we need feedback there also, where you think that there is a um, problem, that you are experiencing some problem somewhere, so that we can actually make it more streamlined and better. So this is to invite you the CSS. Once you start the project, we send an invitation to you. So this is our CSS interface, how that it looks. And then this is a login information. So you have your email link based upon the email is what is there on the code. Mostly it is linked to the CSS system. So you get a verification code, and then you can have a password and log in. Once you log in, you see a different uh, windows here and different modules like my project module, statement, send samples, payment inquiry, all different modules. One thing to note here is just to see that that America is selected and language is English. Sometimes it goes to a different region for some reason when the, so just make sure. Otherwise, if you see in a different region there, then you may not see your project even though it is approved. So today I'm going to basically focus on the send sample option because it is what is linked to our sample shipment. So send sample, when we click on the send sample module, it shows up different projects. So you can put the project name or the contract name and search for it. So project name is by the quote number. So once you do that, then it shows your all the projects that is available. And then there is add sample tab here. After clicking this add sample tab, it opens up another tab on the side, which is called start a new batch. So you can then start a new batch of sample. Here, what you do, once you click on that, it has like 5 different parts, 6 different parts. First is the instruction and important notes, just yeah, important things that I mentioned, like sample must begin with alphabet, and sample should be sent in 1.5 ml to 2 ml views. So you have to confirm this. Once you confirm, then it goes into the sender information. So you put all the details there, and some things are auto-populated because already their project is there, so it will show up. But sender information you have to put in. Then sample summary, you have to put how many tubes you are sending, and extraction method if available, and if you want to get them mixed. So all those information. So next is step 4 is the add sample information. Here, using this new option, you can add samples if they are very less, like 1 or 2 samples, you can add easily, can do all the, but for like multiple samples, you have to use, you can download a template, and the template add whatever is needed. So just a note here, when you are filling out this template, please don't change anything which is there in the drop down menus, because if you change that and you're uploading it, so it would actually show an error. Anything you have specific to say, you can just put in the notes or the remarks section so that it can be noted. But other things, like all the things would like be self-populating there. And with the error, you would know exactly what is the problem, and you can fix it. And if there is a problem that it is not difficult to fix, then we are there to help. Then in the next step is add sample information. So here you add all the other information related to sample. Then final is the review. In the review, you put the lab address, transportation condition, courier company, and all those details. And there are some checkpoints, pre-shipping checklist that you have to check in. And then you click on the submit and print SIF button. After you click on this button, it goes into the next step to print the sample information form. So the sample information form looks something like this. So here, if you see, there is a number here, this SUS number, which is generated. So this is the number which makes it automated. So once it reaches us, we verify the number of samples, and then we log them in directly, whether it is in our Davis lab or it is in Channel Lab. So in the Channel Lab also, they use this number to log in. So that is very important here. So it'll have all the details of institute and how the samples are sending, who is the sales and who is the TS. Then the next step is sample check-in. So if you have done everything your best to prepare your sample correctly, the samples would be automatically checked in. If it is Davis lab, it will be checked in and you get this thing as like this kind of email directly, automated email from CSS. If it is Channel Lab, you'll get an update from me that it is shipped to the Channel Lab. So once it is logged into the Channel Lab, you can actually see this particular message. But I will again tell you who is the person, who is the project coordinator who is taking care of this. But if, for example, there is some issues, then I'll reach out to you asking about like if the samples are not matching or something like that. So then you can let me know what is the correct way to do that so that we can do it faster and avoid delays. So just to give you a summary of what is the best practice of requesting a quote and that, and this part, everybody confirm payment and project initiation and prepare samples. There are many questions sometimes. So I would say that you see our booklet that I mentioned before. If the information is not like available or something you need more clarification on, you can reach out to me and then I can get back to you with all the answers. And then the next step is prepare shipment and submit SIP to 3SS. So this is a very streamlined process. And as I just mentioned, and this would be very faster if you do through the CSS process. But there also, we have also, this is sometimes we see that there is some problem or some software issues. If that happens, then we provide you the older way of sending a SIF file. So you fill it in and then we do the online part. The next is sample check-in, which is checked into our LIMS system. So that particular number I told you on the batch ID or the SIF that you do from CSS helps in sample check-in. Then we move forward to QC or extraction, whatever is the case. So I want to thank you and thank our marketing team for joining and helping this happening. And this is our different, we are also present in social media. If you click on these links, you can actually reach to our website and different social, through in different social media. And now we are in our Q&A section. So we would actually encourage you to ask questions here. Before we move into that, I want to tell that there are links here, this is an introduction to our CSS system. There are links so that how you can put the DNA, RNA, and tissue samples or pre-made libraries. And then we always appreciate your feedback about how we can continually improve by providing innovative and customer-oriented solutions. So thank you very much for listening to this webinar part. And now it's open for question and answers. So if you have any questions, please type in our Q&A module, and then we can take it from there. I'll appreciate your participation. If you have any questions, we can take it up. Anything even beyond what I have presented, you can also ask in the Q&A, specific to your, your, needs. So thanks, Chloe, for the question. Does using the system alert you to our sample being shipped, or do we need to email ahead of time? So, Sam, so just to answer that question, so sample being shipped cannot be alerted because the thing is that that is you are shipping on your end. But once we receive it, then we would know that sample are there. But once shipped, there is no way. So we request you to send us the information when you have shipped it. Any other questions? Yes, once the samples are in, so there are two ways we confirm that the samples were received. One is like you get an automated email, and then manually also we confirm that. But before even automated email comes, because it may not come, it takes some time. So before even we it happens, I say send a confirmation that we have received the samples. So it all depends upon how fast it is happen. It depends upon day to day. For example, some days we get a lot of packages, so it takes more time. So just wait for like few hours. And also please refer to like the time zone differences, because Sacramento there is a 3 hour difference, so they get the sample. So there is like just add 3 hours to that. So if you don't get a confirmation on the same day, definitely we'll get you a confirmation the next day. There is another question about will it be done on CSS, or is there anyone for help? So just to answer this, like now the module is not like equipped with the payment option, but we are working on that aspect. But unless that is not done, so we can actually get it through our accounts team, like the credit card team for the credit card payments. And for the POs, you can send it as at purchase orders at novogene.com. And then definitely you can directly call me and I can help you there. So I understand that got delayed because of the long weekend. I really appreciate your nice questions. Anything related to sample types or something, you can also, or the things that you have encountered during doing CSS difficulties. I know many of the clients have like who have done, they have seen some errors coming in. So all those just to know that where you see the difficulty. And as I mentioned, this webinar is recorded, so you can also get a link when it is done by tomorrow, so that you can also watch it once more if there are some things. Yeah. So I'll keep the forum open for next 5 to 10 minutes. If you have more questions, then we can answer it. And I also appreciate your feedback. Thanks, Yali, for the question. About the total RNA for mRNA-seq, if there is glycogen, 260 to 30 ratio. So that is correct because glycogen absorbs at 230. So we see reduction there. So I don't think there is a problem because the only thing that uh, that may change, like you can send us. The only thing we see is the RNA integrity, and I see that glycogen has no uh, like impact on the RNA integrity. So you can send us the sample. So it's not a problem. It will not affect library preparation. So I highly appreciate your presence and your time for this webinar. And I would suggest that if there are more questions, you can send to us directly, and then we would answer it. And here also, I'm there for next 5 minutes if you have any questions, and then we can stop for today. And I would always appreciate if you have any feedback about things to improve. So we'll improve our system so that it does, like one of the things that Yali has already asked, that to do the payment through CSS. So that is one thing that we are working on. So similar, any new things that you want added to the system will make it more customer friendly, more easy, so that the things can be done in an customer controlled way, means you control the system. So thank you very much. So we'll hope to get more feedback from you and through emails and through other options. Thank you very much for attending the webinar. Thank you.